While looking into different topics for Congress to review in the upcoming year, I came across a national debt clock. This led me to believe that solving the budget crisis would be the most important issue in the upcoming year.
As we look at this legislation, number one is if we do not pass this legislation, we face a fiscal impasse on January 15th and therefore a potential government shutdown at that time. And then we face a fiscal impact at the end of September and a possible government shutdown at that time. I don't know of anyone in this body that thinks these government shutdowns are productive or useful or helpful to our economy. And so by having this agreement in place, we prevent those two episodes from occurring and we prevent those two government shutdowns. Point number two, for too long, for 3 years, this body, Congress, the legislative branch, the one that the founders envisioned in the Constitution would be exercising the power of the purse, the branch of government that's the representative of the people that's supposed to decide how money is spent, well, we've been ceding that authority to the executive branch by passing what we call continuing resolutions. So the spending priorities that were set 3 years ago are still in place, and then we just keep writing these blank checks to the administration, and they set the priorities. That's not a partisan thing. This is an institutional thing. This is a separation of powers thing. Democrats and Republicans alike believe that we should do our jobs, that we should exercise the power of the purse, that the legislative branch should bring back its authority to do this. This does that by restarting the appropriations process, by agreeing to these numbers, which are bipartisan numbers, mutually agreed to numbers. By not doing continuing resolutions, we are reclaiming the power of the purse.
What Representative Paul Ryan is saying is that don't let government shut down because that doesn't solve anything, and two, give the Congress their power back because it isn't up to the executive branch to choose the budget.
Good morning, everyone. You know, more than 5 weeks ago, Republicans signaled our willingness to avert the fiscal cliff with a bipartisan agreement that is truly balanced and begins to solve our spending problem. The president still has not made an offer that meets those two standards, but Republicans have. Now, look at this chart put together by Paul Ryan and the Budget Committee. This line is the current baseline for revenue. Here, if the president got everything he wanted, over $1.4 trillion in taxes, this is what that would represent. But if you look at the spending problem, you see it does nothing to solve the spending problem that our country has.
Here's the chart again showing that even if all of President Obama's taxes were put into place, we are spending too much for a balanced budget.
The issues that we're talking about when we talk about the fiscal cliff are really a lot of the same issues that we've seen over the last couple of years between this Congress and the White House. Discussions over taxes, discussions over spending. It's still more or less the same debate. What at this point, is there anything different at this point that you think is a reason for optimism? Has the election changed the calculus in terms of these discussions at all?
Well, Peter, it's discussions with a deadline, so that's the difference.